You are now listening to T on One Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you Inspire Our Podcast, your source for positive mental stimulation and good vibes, uplifting the world in support of peace, strength, wisdom, and faith. The information and resources on this podcast are based on the opinions of the host, unless otherwise noted. All information is intended to motivate, encourage, and inspire positive change and a healthier lifestyle. This podcast may contain some quotations, images, and or excerpts from copyrighted material. These uses fall well within the copyright doctrine of fair use. Welcome, I am your host, Tony Williams. Welcome, my beautiful and wonderful listeners. Welcome to another episode of Inspire Our Podcast. I am your host, Tony Williams. And today we are going to be discussing unleashing the power within, mastering the art of anger management. Now, if you're new, thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and follow no matter where you're listening to this. Comment. I enjoy your feedback. If you have any questions, definitely pass them along. I am willing and open to answering them. And again, welcome. Now, this is your source for positive mental stimulation and good vibes. And we are trying to uplift the world in support of peace, strength, wisdom, and faith. And along this journey, because it is a journey, we encounter many things, and for today, it is anger management. Now, a lot of people do have this issue, and we are going to work through it. Now, in the journey of life, emotions guide us through each challenging thing as well as triumph. Now, among them, one powerful emotion often arises, and it's anger. We don't necessarily like anger, but it is there. It's a part of us. It is a force that can be both destructive, but yet transformative. But it is how we handle this intense energy that truly defines our character. And we do want to keep our character intact, right? Well, in this episode, we will explore the art of anger management, uncovering the wisdom and techniques that will help you harness this potential emotion, transforming it into a catalyst for personal growth and inner peace. So to start off, how do we do this? We have to understand anger, like truly understand it. Because normally it's something that just pops up, usually suddenly, from being provoked or an extreme situation that kind of brings us outside ourselves. And we want to kind of understand that so we can deal with it. Now, anger at its core is a natural response to perceived injustices, frustrations, or even pain. And it can be triggered by external circumstances or even our own internal struggles. And I'm sure we've had to deal with that this week or last week. However, it is crucial to recognize that anger, though it may be valid, needs to be dealt with consciously. We got to kind of rein it in, you know? Ignored or unchecked, anger can spiral out of control, damaging relationships, eroding our emotional well-being, and hindering our overall life satisfaction. I mean, let's be honest. If we're angry all the time, we can't enjoy the beautiful and wonderful people, places, and things in life. So, number one, it's the power of awareness. Being aware keeps things somewhat in order. So the first step towards mastering anger management is to cultivate self-awareness. You know how they say check yourself before anyone else has to? Take a moment to reflect on your triggers and patterns. Notice how anger manifests within you, the physical sensation, the thoughts, and behaviors that follow. By being mindful of these cues, you bring your anger into focus, which helps you to gain control over it instead of being driven by it. 2, emotional intelligence and empathy. Yes, it's such a thing. It is. To effectively manage anger, we must develop emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize and understand our emotions and those of others. Practicing empathy allows us to step into the shoes of others, gaining a broader perspective and reducing the chance of misinterpreting intentions. Because it does happen. Miscommunication. It can even be a word or a sentence or a phrase we might not know, we might not understand the meaning of, or even a joke. Because sometimes a joke can do it as well. Some people find jokes to be ha-ha, and other people are like, no, it's not really a joke. It fosters compassion and patience, crucial ingredients in diffusing anger within ourselves and in our interaction with others. I'll give you an example. I was in Walmart, and I know a lot of you despise going to Walmart. Some of you love it. I'm kind of in the middle of that because, I get a little anxious in Walmart. Too many people, that sort of thing. And a lady said something to me the other day, and it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I had to, take a deep breath and kind of grasp myself mentally and emotionally. Because I almost said, what the hell, woman? And what she said was, I know you can pass me this. She couldn't reach something on the shelf, and at the time I didn't see her. So I was unaware of her dilemma and situation. And my back was turned. So to hear that from behind, and I knew it was only me and one other person on this aisle, I got a little inside. I was like, wait a minute. Let's, hold on, take a deep breath. Let's see what this is first before we go kaboom. And I'm very glad I did. Because that could have been a hell of a situation. But it's situations like that can trigger an unhealthy response. And that anger will take off and go to running. And before you know it, anger is in control and you are not. And that compassion is what she needed. And the frustration she was having, she didn't quite check herself or think of her words before she said them. Because that's not exactly how you do it. But turns out she was an older woman. And she was frustrated. She was short. So she couldn't reach, she was reaching for some greens on the shelf. So when I turned around and I said, excuse me? And she said, I'm sorry, I'm frustrated. I can't reach this. Can you please help me? Yes, ma'am, I can. And she was very appreciative. She said, thank you. But had I not checked myself, that could have ended very badly. So that emotional intelligence and empathy does really play a part in life. And the power of awareness, I'm aware of how my anger can, so I got to keep it in check. And that's just one of many situations that can arise in life. Now, 3, cultivating emotional resilience. Picture a raging storm. Anger, like a storm, can be fierce and overwhelming. It can take control before you know it. 0 to 120 in less than a second for some. To weather this storm, we must build emotional resilience. I know. What the heck? How? This involves developing healthy coping mechanisms, such as deep breathing exercising, meditation, journaling, or engaging in physical activities that serve as outlets for pent-up anger. Like back in the day, tennis, volleyball, riding a bike, going to the gym. Those were my things. So whatever comforts you, painting, reading, singing, fishing. There are so many things that can be done to let that pent-up anger out. And it's very healthy to do so. And by practicing these strategies, we can stay grounded, channeling our anger into constructive actions or even creative endeavors. There have been some who've started some creative things as a coping mechanism and actually ended up sparking a whole career from it. 4, communication and conflict resolution. This one right here is a tough one for a lot of people. Because everything is heated, and in the moment, you're not thinking about how to resolve this. How do we fix this? How do we, turn this situation around when we've already went kaboom? So taking those steps is very important. And this step, which is one of the most critical aspects of anger management, is learning how to communicate our emotions effectively. Because we'll say anything when we're pissed. When you might be the greatest speaker in the world, but when you're angry, you might have a loss of words or say things that you weren't intending to say. You were intending to say something else, but you're so emotional and upset that you can't find your words, or you use the wrong words, or, whatever the case may be. Expressing anger in a respectful and assertive manner, devoid of aggression and blame, opens up opportunities for genuine dialogue and understanding. Because we got to find a medium, a balance, smoothness, a finesse, so to speak. Conflict resolution skills such as active listening and finding common ground are invaluable tools that help diffuse the tension and restore harmony, which is much needed. There are so many incidents every day. You read the newspaper, you see it online, you watch the news, where so many people are getting killed, so much road rage, and all those sort of things. You have so many relationships where it becomes volatile. At the workplace, it's everywhere. Anger is everywhere. And it's inside of every single individual on this planet. And everyone does not know how to rein it in and control it and check themselves. And then there are some who are sparked when they're, approached with aggression. So if we're controlling our aggression in a situation, it just might be the catalyst to lead to conflict resolution. Because if you're angry and you approach me, you're going to piss me off too. But if you come to me correct, cool, calm, and collected, I'm going to more than likely be cool, calm, and collected. It's a two-way street, right? Now, another critical aspect of anger management is learning how to communicate our emotions effectively. And we got to do that. It is a must. So, 5, the importance of self-care. How does that relate into anger management? Oh, believe me, it does. Because when you're not taking care of yourself, you can already have pent up frustration over some of the smallest things. When it comes to anger management, self-care is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Self-care encompasses nurturing our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Those things are very important. Have you ever been out and about at the mall or a restaurant or any place, and you can feel the negativity from someone who passes you? You can hear the negativity. You're like, what's up their butt? That could result from a lack of self-care, mental well-being, that emotional, the physical. When all of that has been neglected, it's almost like it's a perfect storm for anger, because whatever life then puts upon you brings more frustration, more anxiety, more stress. And sooner or later, somebody's going to come by and step on your toe or accidentally bump into you or even say the wrong thing not knowing. And the fuse is lit. We don't want that. So definitely use self-care daily. Now, engaging in activities that bring us joy, practicing relaxation techniques, seeking professional help if needed, all of these actions contribute to a healthier relationship with anger. By investing in ourselves, we replenish our inner reserves, equipping us with the strength and the resilience to deal with anger constructively. And it is a transformation. Let's be honest. And this is coming from a hothead, guys. Yes, I know. But I am a hothead. I have been dealing with this and working with this for a few years. And it is important to embrace the transformation. Anger management is not a quick fix. Rather, it is a lifelong journey of self-discovery and growth. Like I stated, I've been dealing with this for years. I am a hothead. You can trust in what I'm saying. It is a lifelong journey. And it takes some work, some effort, some time. So don't be too hard on yourself and be careful with it. As we embark on this voyage, we must remember that anger, when harnessed wisely, can become a powerful catalyst for personal and societal transformation, which is needed. By acknowledging and learning from our anger, we can uncover deeper insights into our values, boundaries, and desires. Out of the ashes of anger, an opportunity for growth and positive change emerges. Anger is one of those things that we cannot rid ourselves from, so no perfection there. And if you're a perfectionist, that's going to be your biggest challenge. So in this section, don't look for perfection. There's no perfection in anger management. That way your hope's not up to the sky and then it just bottoms out when something happens. Don't do that to yourself. Now, anger management is one that I've actually gone to seek help for, and it has been helpful. So don't be ashamed to go seek professional help for it. If you have an anger management problem, go seek help. And still, while seeking help, try to do all the things that I just talked about as well. Because not only does it take sometimes professional help, sometimes along with medication, but self-work. That's the part you put in on your own. Because the professional can only do so much. The medication can only do so much. It is the effort you put in to work with those things, as well as all the coping mechanisms, the healthy coping mechanisms that we do to help ourselves. Now, in closing, in the quest for anger management, we discovered the transformative power that lies within us. With self-awareness, emotional intelligence, resilience, effective communication, and self-care, we can redefine our relationship with anger. As we navigate life's challenges, let us strive for understanding, compassion, and growth, harnessing this potential emotion as a stepping stone toward a more fulfilling and harmonious existence. And please remember, anger is a part of being human, but it is how we choose to handle it that defines our true character. The choices for personal growth and inner peace is ours to make alone. Here is this week's affirmation. Your weekly affirmation for this week is, I am in control of my emotions, specifically anger. I choose to respond calmly and thoughtfully to provocation, allowing peace and understanding to prevail. Quote for the week. Your quote for this week is, anger held within is like a smoldering fire, consuming the soul, but anger managed with grace and understanding becomes a transformative force, igniting positive change within oneself and others. You have been listening to Inspire Our Podcast by TO1 Radio, the talk show podcast station. Know that you are loved, cherished, and needed. So keep your head up and your heart light. Until the next time, have a blessed and productive week. I've been your host, Tony Williams. TO1 Radio Station listeners are awesome. Because of this, your voice is very important. Listeners are encouraged and welcome to call in live during a show or leave a message with your thoughts and opinions, whether it's the Sound Meditation Podcast, the Tony on One Podcast, the Sister Talk Podcast with Sister Such and Such, the Underground Podcast about music, or Inspire Our Podcast. We're trying to inspire the world. That's TO1 Radio. So listeners' voice is very important. So give us a call at 318-315-3586. Again, 318-315-3586. And voice your opinion. Hi guys, this is Tony on One. And I am here to tell you a little bit about my radio station. All shows are by TO1 Radio, the talk show podcast station. Shows are available anytime for download, play on demand, and they're on most of your podcast sites and or apps. Subscribe and hit the notification bell on YouTube. The name over there is Tony on One. As well as like, follow, and share on social media. We're on one. So tune in for raw, uncut talk.